How China is copying SpaceX. Hi everyone, welcome to Global Tech, and today we're taking a look at how China is copying SpaceX. Before we dive into the topic, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel as it really motivates us to make more awesome videos. Space Exploration Technologies Corporated, often called as SpaceX, is a Hawthorne, California-based aerospace manufacturer and space transportation services provider. Elon Musk created in 2002 intending to lower space transportation costs so that Mars could be colonized. The Falcon 9 and the Falcon Heavy launch vehicles, as well as other rocket engines, Dragon cargo, and crew spacecraft, and Starlink satellites are all manufactured by SpaceX. All countries of the world are in awe of what SpaceX is doing. It is changing the course of our future. And China, the equally competent superpower of the world compared to the US, is undoubtedly interested in the technological advancements SpaceX is making more than any other country. On top of that, it is fairly capable of originating the next SpaceX. China has a fair chance of becoming the dominant space force in the 21st century. This nation is paying careful attention to what forward-thinking American companies like SpaceX are doing. Like communism is learning from capitalism to advance in space. A small rocket launched from an inland spaceport in a country south in the summer of 2019. For the first time, close-up images posted later on Chinese social media pages revealed tiny grid fins affixed to the upper parts of this Long March 2C rocket. They looked almost identical to the grid fins used by SpaceX to guide its Falcon 9 rocket through the atmosphere for landings on its ocean-based drone ships. A year after the test, China's main space contractor announced plans to improve the ability to reuse its Long March 8 booster, which runs on kerosene fuel, the same as SpaceX rockets. This rocket, like SpaceX Falcon 9 booster, will be able to land on a sea platform by 2025, according to Chinese officials. It's not just Chinese government contractors who are following in SpaceX's footsteps. Reusable rockets are also being developed by a growing number of Chinese semi-private companies. Link Space and Galactic Energy, two Chinese companies, have published schematics that appear to be based on SpaceX technology. None of this should come as a big surprise. Government-backed companies in Russia and Europe have recently announced plans to build reusable rockets that are identical to the Falcon 9 booster in appearance and function. The Chinese efforts to imitate SpaceX are comparatively noteworthy because of the country's expansive space aspirations and extensive resources to support these long-term goals. The Chinese government and Russia signed an agreement to cooperate in the development of a moon base. By 2050, China plans to launch crewed missions to Mars and construct a huge space-based commercial-scale solar power plant. They're in it for the long haul, and they want to win. Given China's recent achievements in space, it would be prudent to take these lofty targets seriously. China became the third country to return moon rocks to Earth in December. It will attempt to become just the second nation to land and run a rover on the surface of Mars after the United States. Meanwhile, China is pursuing a range of other goals in space, including the construction of an orbital space station, the development of an satellite capabilities in space, and the establishment of a lunar base. As China advances in space, NASA has invested more than $20 billion in its space launch system, a massive rocket that could soon be obsolete. And when combined with NASA's Artemis program, flying this single-use rocket is so costly that it will surprise congressional funding by more than 43%. In a few years, NASA might also leave the International Space Station. Meanwhile, China is preparing European astronauts to visit its massive modular space station by training them and teaching them Chinese. Any of these European astronauts may later join China's and Russia's lunar exploration efforts. However, as surprising as it might seem, the United States' biggest advantage over China is its emerging commercial space industry, which is led by SpaceX. If America wants to compete, it needs to tap into the full potential of SpaceX and other commercial space companies that want to go further, faster, and for less money in space. NASA has also used this form of public-private collaboration to carry cargo and astronauts to the International Space Station, with the companies including SpaceX, Northrop Grumman, and Boeing providing services. This is one of the reasons why China started investing in dozens of companies to commercialize rockets and satellites about 5 years ago. As a result, the 21st century space race isn't so much between China and NASA. Rather, it is a competition between China and the commercial space industry in the United States, namely SpaceX. SpaceX achieved international acclaim nearly a decade ago when it started successfully landing its Falcon 9 rockets, an engineering achievement that many had previously considered unlikely or impractical. Unlike in the past, when rocket boosters ran out of fuel on their way to orbit, SpaceX found out how to land them upright on the platforms at sea and land, enabling the company to retrieve and refurbish the rockets while saving money. Later, the company combined 3 of these Falcon 9 cores to create the Falcon Heavy, a larger and more powerful rocket. It's now putting to the test an even bigger, reusable booster, the Starship spacecraft, which is designed to transport humans to and from Mars. China announced remarkably identical space plans. The country's space agency confirmed plans to develop a triple-core rocket similar to SpaceX Falcon Strong. It also announced plans to move ahead with its massive Long March 9 rocket, which is capable of lifting as much as 140 metric tons to low Earth orbit, the same amount as a Saturn V rocket, which is still the most powerful rocket to have ever flown successfully. The massive rocket would be unlike anything NASA built. However, Chinese officials, taking a page from SpaceX playbook, said they would like it to be reusable. Although SpaceX has evolved into a game-changing space business, the United States and China have become increasingly locked in a war for power and economical capital on Earth. In the coming decades, this war, which has already begun in low Earth orbit, will spread to the Moon and finally, Mars. Space will come to represent the supreme high ground in the competition for strategic power and economic wealth. For the time being, the United States and NASA benefit from a more robust space program and a stronger commercial space industry. China's continuity of intent and mimicking of Western strengths will resolve this head start, unless Congress and NASA accept commercial space more closely and follow a bold plan of exploration. But this matter doesn't require an immediate reaction. Some people argue, why would China want to copy SpaceX and defame itself? The China National Space Administration was already catching up with NASA in many areas before SpaceX was beginning to mark its name in possible areas. While Elon Musk is unquestionably at the forefront of manned space explorations, the Chinese are taking an equally unique and admirable approach. At this point, they aren't too concerned with people's transportation to Mars. China, for example, does not want to send people to the moon until 2036. No, China is much more interested in mining asteroids for metal at the moment. Even NASA pales in contrast to some of China's space explorations. We cannot directly accuse the Chinese government of copying SpaceX. The design and secret of any advanced product are kept ultra secret. This is completely true of any big company like SpaceX. There is no chance that SpaceX, which makes such intelligent innovations, to be stupid enough to make anything worth stealing. No entrepreneur in his business mind hesitates to copy any useful technology, management method, market strategy, and negotiation tricks for his company. After all, copying is legal, as long as the company bypasses a patent limitation. From this perspective, China has done nothing wrong. A long ethical debate can be conducted on this topic, which is not the purpose here. Well, that's the end of today's video. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button and comment down below. Also, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell if you're new to the channel to be notified whenever we upload more content like these. See you next time.